I have played a whole lot of video games over the past few decades. And since I'm a certain kind of nerd, I get into this thing where I try to rank them on which ones I think are better and which ones I think are worse. And whenever I do that though, because I'm even more of that type of nerd than you probably think I am, I end up having to partition them into two different categories before I can even really get started. On one side, you've got games that are being looked at as like a standalone experience, something like single player or co-op. And then on the other side, you've got multiplayer games that hinge most of what make them great on their meta and on how players interact. When I get to thinking about Dragon Ball FighterZ like this, as far as like the standalone experience side of things goes, I don't think it even really cracks like the top 100. When I think about it in terms of games that I like to play for their multiplayer and participate in the meta, I think it's probably my favorite game of all time. If you could somehow look at the total number of hours played across every game I've ever touched, I think there's probably just a small handful of ones that have a real claim to being the ones that I put the most hours into over the years. Civilization 4 got a whole lot of traction when I was in high school and then also in college. Sonic 2 was my constant go-to when I was a little kid, but those hours also might have felt a little bit different when I was like 5. I spent like an incomprehensible amount of time just dicking around Cyrodiil and doing weird things in Oblivion. But if I was forced to bet money on it, I think I'd have to go with DBFZ. It came out for me at a time that I was starting to really realize how much I actually like fighting games. And then, even more importantly, it also came out during a stretch of time where we just pretty much always had a toddler running around the house somewhere. So during that time, there was a whole lot to say about being able to play for hours at a time or play for 10 minutes and be done. I feel like playing games in that first context that I mentioned, those standalone experiences, I feel like that's like watching a movie or reading a book. You can encounter these flourishes in the game design that people have put in that's like taking in really strong cinematography or reading really thought-provoking prose. This is going to sound like I'm talking bad about it, and I'm really not meaning to. I feel like playing games in that second context, jumping into the meta, participating in the online multiplayer, it's great thought exercise like playing chess, it's great for emergent gameplay, but I would also say it's kind of like eating chips.
Double kill, triple kill, overkill, kill-pocalypse, killing spree, killing frenzy.
A lot of the game design that would apply to success for either of those contexts rely on the same fundamentals, but for a standalone experience, those elements of game design are really being used to increase your immersion, to build bridges between the gameplay and the storytelling, to craft like an overall intended player experience. For games that are completely dependent on their meta, it's more about refining the fundamental gameplay loop into like the best repeatable challenge, the best endorphin trigger, getting the seasoning and the baking on the chips just right so that each crunch is satisfying. That's something weird about these types of games that are essentially all in on their meta, especially ones that patch in updates over time. I can log on and jump into ranked matches now, but it's a completely different game than it was when I bought it in 2018. And it was different year over year too during the time I played it, but it's also still the same game it's always been, and always will be the same game. It kind of feels hard to get your arms around it from a game preservation standpoint, but it's really just a necessity for maintaining these games that put so much into staying competitive and staying interesting. Even before it became a thing to push patches out to games online, just look at all the different versions of Street Fighter 2 they had to make. So if FighterZ doesn't have the juice to make a really good single-player experience, is it my favorite because they just managed the meta so well that it was the best balanced and best maintained game that there ever was?
Oh my no.
I was basically always down for this game, for better or for worse, but man, there has been some stuff. The game shipped with some pretty significant balance issues from the jump. Some of the characters started off their runs with confused or just straight up missing identities. Season 2 came in with balanced Nightmare GT Goku, the snapback was discovered at the same time, and then they decided to wait a whole year before they did any patches. Every one of the DLC characters was like a coin flip on whether or not they would upend the balance of the game, culminating in the final DLC character just being straight up tournament banned. And, at least in my opinion, C-assists came into the game and just made it permanently less fun to play. I know a lot of people that have been around for this game will say like, oh, they're just part of the game, you need to get better, bait the C-assists out, then attack, and like, dude, I know. My point with it isn't that I can't beat it, or that it's too strong, it's just that it's not as fun. And you will just never convince me that the game wouldn't be infinitely better if there was just a third assist option that operated the same way as A and B does. But again though, I do like this game, I'm not like all complaints or anything. All my mains and secondaries kept getting better and better as the game went on. I actually enjoy the limit break mechanic. They did eventually fix the snapback, at least partially. Guard cancels got the buffs that they needed. Key charge got the buffs that it deserved, I guess. And Season 3 launched so big it was like a whole revision to the entire game. They even patched in extra TNs. I can't not love that. My main point though is that Fighters wasn't outperforming other multiplayer games and how it was managing its balance. What ended up elevating these branded chips to my favorite branded chips wasn't so much about how well they preserved the balance of the game or how well they maintained the meta, it was about how they used the fundamentals of the game design to make the perfect gameplay loop. Pretty much right off the bat, 2D style fighters are already my favorite flavor. And when it comes to 2D fighters, I feel like the first test of whether or not it's going to be viable for me is whether or not you're going to feel like a cool person when you're playing as your characters. Literally nothing will cut off my interest in a fighting game faster than if I just cannot identify with a main right away. But this is another area where I feel like Fighters gets a bit of a boost. I already think Piccolo is cool. I already think that Goku is cool. Tien, Videl, Vegeta, Ginyu, Frieza, Cell, Nappa, Krillin. I already recognize all of these characters. I already think that they're cool. They could have grabbed the roster for this game and achieved being cool even without trying as far as the characters are concerned. But then they did try anyway. They tried really, really hard. Everyone in the cast for this game is brought to life so well. Even characters that I don't think are very cool from the source material, like Cooler ironically, are really done up in style. Yeah! You've got Jiren, who's arguably most well known for being boring, and he even shows up here with the best he's got. I don't particularly think that Super Saiyan Blue is very cool either, but then also goddamn. Yeah! And then some of the characters who don't come from Z, like Hit, are brought together and expressed more in a style reminiscent of how they were drawn in Z than how they were in the source material they were pulled from. There's a famous quote about the art direction from the game, and I can't remember if it comes from the director of the game or from Hiromi, but what they said is that they wanted the design to not look like it looked like in the anime, they wanted it to look like how people remembered it looking in the anime. I feel like I understand exactly what they mean when I watch the gameplay, and I feel like they really pulled it off. Another big thing the game has going for it are just some of the mechanics that they applied during each match. At this point, we're probably just shy of under 80 billion adaptations of Dragon Ball into different video games, most of those in the form of some kind of a fighter. And there have been a whole lot of different approaches in terms of how they tried to make the feel of the series come alive into the gameplay itself. Simple things they've done here, like making the Dragon Rush your standard throw, putting super dashes into the game, implementing beam clashing and different beam strengths, smash effects during combos. The game manages to maintain some of that 2D simplicity that it needs, but also feeling more explosive than any other adaptation that's been made before it. And one of the things they did here that really helps it stand out from all those other adaptations is just the performances that they got from the voice cast in the game. They did an amazing job, since you're going to hear these lines over and over and over and over again. The delivery for each one had to be like immaculate, and I feel like on almost every case, they really came through. Because this is a 2D fighter, a lot of the context around the fighting is really abstract, so most of the voice lines are really just bottled up characterization that they uncork and pop off because it's going to sound cool.
There you go. Don't underestimate the Saiyan race! I'm Saiyan!
So blah blah blah, its value comes from like a whole heap of different things that I feel like roll together, but I feel like there are two elements in particular that kind of make up the game's secret sauce. The first one is all about the combo system and the unique flavor that it brings to the table. It's a massively important aspect of pretty much any 2D fighter these days, so that they have a way to stand out in the field. Because at one point in time, the canvas for a 2D fighting game was a lot more simple than it is today. Characters moving on a 2D plane using the X and Y axis, health bars, character select, attacks, and defense. What separated the greats at one time were some of the innovations that brought newer levels of depth. Throws, startup into active into recovery, deliberate plus and minus frames on block, dragon punches and iframes, meter management, comeback mechanics, lows, mids, highs, overheads, guard point, armor, push block, block strings, special cancels, jump cancels, wall bounces, ground bounces, combo scaling, gravity scaling, chip damage, command grabs, rounds, time limits, super moves, installs, puppet characters, stance characters. Every one of these at one point were an innovative idea. Now they've all been so proliferated and widely borrowed that they have become the canvas. You could make a fighting game today that has every single one of the mechanics that I just listed, and if that was all it had, it would still have basically no identity. They were all groundbreaking once, but now they're part and parcel. That's why for every fighter I think you see so much focus going into talking about their combo systems. It's just a really good way to cut out and make yourself more distinctive. You've got the clunkier dial-a-combo and gravity scaling system for Mortal Kombat. You've got the high execution, short and sweet system for Street Fighter. You've got whatever exactly is happening with Tekken. And then Dragon Ball FighterZ really has its own thing going on. Combos for this game usually follow a pretty standard sequence that's very similar from one character to the next. First off, when an opponent gets hit, they enter a hit stun state and continuously start to recover from it. If you keep hitting them while they're stunned, then the hit stun continues, but with the recovery increasing and increasing until eventually they have to be able to escape. Honestly, so far so standard as far as combo systems go from any fighter. Where DBFZ gets a lot of its character from is through the smash events that punctuate the combo throughout. When you land a specific move, or land it in the right condition, the camera will shift, the characters freeze in place, and you get a big boost to the hit stun that lets you keep going a little bit longer in your combo. It fucking rules every time. In general, combos are basically bookended by two of these smash events, one at the beginning and one at the end. At the beginning, you've got a launcher that basically starts your combo off, and then at the end you have another one that, for lack of a better word, I'm going to call the smacker. Your launcher is typically going to be your most versatile smash attack that you have. A lot of different moves can act as the launcher. You can either start your combo off with it, or you can hit it after a little bit of a preamble. Whereas the launcher blasts the opponent up and away from the floor, the smacker knocks them back down to it, setting them up for some kind of a finisher. I'm actually not 100% sure if it used to be this way or not, but at least in today's version of the game, you can swap these two also. So as long as you can hit your launcher after you hit your smacker, you can hit your smacker and then hit them with a launcher after the fact. That's what combos look like in this game at their most basic level. You also get to throw in a vanish cancel somewhere in the middle of the combo. You get one per combo, and it lets you take a little bit more of a freeform approach to how you want to structure it. Maybe it's before your launcher so that you can combo when otherwise it would have just been a straight hit, in which case you have to give up your launcher. Maybe it's after your launcher but before your smacker so that you can just add a little bit more damage to it. Maybe it's after your smacker and you've got something different in mind for how you're going to finish things off. Then you've got your assists, which you can use once each during the duration of your combo, again for all sorts of freeform nonsense that you want to do. You get one Dragon Rush per combo too, but if it's before your launcher, then it takes the place of your launcher. If it's in the air, then it takes the place of your smacker, unless you've already smacked, in which case it acts like a second smacker. Or it can be an extra little juggle if it's on the ground, but you've already launched or smacked them already. And then for your regular smackers, there's actually a little bit of context around those. If you look at Tien's jumping 5H for example, that's not a smacker if you land it raw. If you launch them with your 2H first, now it's a smacker. If you launch them with your 5H first, it's not a smacker. His Crane Strike though, that's always a smacker, even if it's a launcherless smacker. Then you've got the Sparking Blast, which extends the combo, but at the cost of doing no damage and adding hit stun scaling. But then when you have Sparking Blast on, it's not one assist per combo anymore. Also during Sparking Blast, you get another Vanish Cancel, except this one is, you guessed it, more freeform. Then you've got auto combo smash events also. Basically every character on the roster has two unique attacks that are only accessible as part of a sequence, light, light, light. For every one of the characters, that third hit always causes a smash event. Even if you've already used it in a combo 10 times, it's always primed for another smash event. If you land it before your launcher, then it takes the place of your launcher. And I swear it used to be that an auto combo smash would also eat up your smacker spot, but it's not that way anymore, if it ever was, and so you can just land an infinite number of auto combo smashes before you eventually hit the smacker that you want. Then almost every command grab in the game is a smash event too. The big thing about the command grabs is that you can only land it once per combo, but that goes for each unique command grab that your character has. So if you have multiple different types of command grabs, you can land one of each. Unless it's an auto combo command grab, in which case you can do it as much as you want, just like every other auto combo in the game. And then you've got super moves, which are usually at the end of your combo, except some characters have the ability to hit them in the middle of their combo, but if you do that, those characters all give up their launcher and their smacker during the flow of the combo, except for Jiren, who doesn't for some reason. And after you land your super move, you can switch to your other characters to use their super moves. Which also, I forgot to mention that you can switch characters in the middle of your combo even before you get to that point. With all that said, the point of all this big mess is that it culminates in a combo system that doesn't prioritize execution, it doesn't necessarily prioritize optimization that badly. What it really does is it puts the primary focus of the combo system on creativity. With a cast that runs 44 characters deep, you can make 13,244 unique combinations of a 3-person team. If you count all the assist variations that have been added, then you have 357,847 possible different team makeups. That gives us a virtually infinite number of ways that we can bend the combo system to make it our own. One of the first moments I really remember in the game happened with the first team I ran, which was Kid Buu, Hit, and Tien. After I learned the basic 2M combo with Buu, I figured out that I could smack people down into Tien's beam, and then hit his stretchy arm grab after the fact. I've since learned that that is not remotely optimal, but what it did is it let me put my own little stamp on the end of each combo that I hit, and that felt really good. This whole setup where each player basically gets to assemble and develop their own toolkit, it leads to a system where basically each player gets to express themselves, and it's why I think it's such a strength for the game. Unfortunately, I do also think it's the game's biggest flaw. The nature of how the combo system works means that if you get hit, there's a really good chance that you're going to be locked out of play for what's honestly a very decent amount of time. And I don't think it's something that you can really walk back that easily either. To reduce the amount of time that people are being locked into these combos, you would have to take away building blocks that make that system of expression possible. I feel like the only way that you can make that flaw better is to make one of its other strengths worse. So it's kind of a thing where you just have to accept it for what it is. The other half of what I think the game's secret sauce is that it is just so fucking pretty. I remember that when I first bought the game, I actually did think that it was a 2D game rendered with sprites. Specifically, I remember this time that I went into practice mode with Captain Ginyu, and I turned to my wife and said, like, hey, look how smooth this animation looks when he crouches.
And she said that we're done.
As I went along, I was like, that's some unbelievable 2D animation for this game, when you look at the dramatic finishes and some of the intros and outros. And then I started to figure it out when you would see the post-match moments, where they actually turn the camera. It's making full use of its X-axis, its Y-axis, its Z-axis, and it's even using its roll, its pitch, and its yaw. Yeah! You might think that the game being rendered in 3D makes the art design less impressive than if it was all hand-drawn, and while I'm sure it did save the dev team a lot of time to do it this way, I think I'm honestly more impressed that they were able to render it this way and still make it look consistently like well-drawn 2D animation. They end up pulling a lot of little tricks to make it work. I don't know who exactly had the galaxy brain to figure this all out, but the end result is kind of like black magic to me. First off, look at the way that the character models are oriented. These aren't positioned to look normal in 3D whatsoever, but they look fantastic in the flat 2D format, and that's why you see the camera shift, but only shift so much. There's another trick they do, where instead of just rendering the character itself, they also render the character shape in complete pitch black, and they have that pitch black render of the character sit on top of the regular one, and that ends up providing the outlining for the character when you look at them. I saw this other one pointed out a long time ago by She Says. For the motion blur effect that you see on a lot of the characters' normals, these are actually 2D sprites that are rendered at all times during the match, but whenever they're not in use, they just basically sit in the characters' bellies. And then there's the one that I think just about everybody knows at this point. They completely manipulate the scale and sections of character models to make all kinds of unique effects during the cinematics. It's kind of like how they made Gimli look small in Lord of the Rings, but here it's being applied to stuff like Android 18's hand. I mean, just look at some of these. You can tell that a lot of effort went in, and it's crazy how much they probably had to figure out to make this just right. I think the party is just about over for Dragon Ball FighterZ. They're done with putting out any kind of DLC, and support with patches or any other content is set to expire very soon. It's too bad, honestly, because I think there's still some juice left here. We never really got proper costumes. I think a lot of people can think of different stages they would have liked to have seen. And at least personally, I can still think of a lot of characters that I would have really loved to have seen make their way to the roster over time. The industry rumor is that Bandai Namco and ArcSys didn't really see eye to eye by the end of things. And if they ever did make a second one, it likely wouldn't be developed by ArcSys directly, which raises the specter of whether you even want a second one or not. In the meantime, FighterZ is on its way to the same special farm-up state where you find Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and Mortal Kombat 9. I had a damn good time with it. It was the culmination of some really great ideas and some even better execution, and I think it's worth remembering the further and further we get away from its time in the sun.
Come on, let's do this! I'm dying to fight you! Come here!
Can do. Well, pretty cool for an old man, huh? Care to trade blows with an old man like me? After image strike! I have you now! You're finished! Here you go! Kamehameha! Evil containment wave! There, all done!
Sorry, you guys.
If you're gonna run, now's your chance.
Not going anywhere. Take this. Come here. It's on now. Not going anywhere. Over here. Eat this. Spear ball.
I can't be killed by the same person twice. I hope.
Over here, try this one! Yeah! Like that! I'm not doing you yet! Like that! Try this one! Stuck with this! Show you what I meant!
You have some nerve to show your face here. What's wrong? You lost your nerve? Here it comes! You fool! Even if it kills me, how's this? You try me! What are you doing, Chelsea? Chelsea! Are you?
You and I have unfinished business.
Get back here! Hell's over! You ready? I'll show you my full power! Alright, ready for this? Special big time! Take a dive!
I'm Goku, a Saiyan who was raised on Earth. Or so they tell me.
Lend me your energy! Take that! Over here! It's ready! Take that!
All right, I'm gonna take my time making you suffer. Let's play a little game.
Like you! Idiot! Gotcha! Like you! Let's go! Gotcha! Like you! This is the end! Eat this!
This is my best. This will be your grave!
Try this!
Don't underestimate the Saiyan race!
It's up to me. I'm gonna change the future! Too slow. Bring it on! Never gonna get away with this. You're the one who's gonna die! All together now! I've been ordered by Lord Frieza to do this. Don't take it personally. Together we up! All together now!
Maybe I'll quit with the warm-up and start fighting seriously.
Bon voyage! Guess I'll give you a repair yourself. I can survive in the vacuum of space. I'll shut you up for good!
I am Son Goku, the Super Saiyan.
Over here! You pay for this!
Well then, ready to kneel?
The power is infinite! I'll rid the world of sand! Consider yourself space dust!
There's no need for a warm-up here.
You're going for a second! I see you! You're going down! See how you like to talk and clean up! Take it! I see you! Take that! See how I'm coming! You're finished!
It's over! Burning attack!
You need to be stopped!
Say goodbye!
I'll erase you completely!
I have the power too, to become the legendary Super Saiyan.
Say your prayers! Are you brave enough to take this one?
Shall I?
Look at you. You Saiyans are a real hot-blooded bunch, aren't you?
You look like you care about owning your spirit as a warrior. It's like a careless pride leads to an early grave.
So let's try this! Go away, you and me. Here comes the pain. Take this! Let's do it, 17!
Fine.
This is over. Bye.
Damn you!
Have you learned how to treat the environment? If I recall correctly, a certain green someone destroyed an island.
Power of lips! Handle this! Take this! What you want?
You're done for. That's your best, huh?
Goku, I was built to destroy you.
It's over. See how you like this?
I have no other options.
Oh, you want to get back at me for what I did, don't you? You're welcome to try. Next. Enjoyable. Pathetic. You here shall be destroyed.
I will stop you! Finish this!
Kakarot! Where do you think you're going? Out of my way! Here's a present for you!
Don't you dare go easy on me, Gohan!
There we go! Here! Get ready!
Up and down!
Gohan!
Things are gonna be different this time! Super! Here it goes!
Was it really necessary for me to help?
You're fighting me now, Majin Buu.
Show you how much of a fight I can put on, even just by myself!
I'll let you win this time.
You too will become one of my loyal and obedient slaves, Vegeta. I have no further need for that body of yours, so either die or become my slave. The choice is yours to make. Prepare to be made. We Temples will have our revenge! Revenge
Fusion! All right, I'm gonna make this real quick. This is where the fight ends! Ultra Big Bang!
Now then, instead of the Supreme Kai, try your hand at defeating me this time.
Best shot. You did well.
Now then, feels I got a little carried away.
still have something up your sleeve, don't you, Hit?
One more time! Now this! Now this!
Impossible! You'll find I'm not as naive as Kakarot.
You'll regret this!
Don't underestimate the Saiyan now!
I'll make you pay for this!
Scared of what? Fine up!
I've never let a job go unfinished.
Don't move.
Let's begin.
Here goes.
Try to block this.
This is the stance.
I continue to improve.
The day has finally come where I snuff the life out of you, Saiyan.
This is bad!
Over here!
Escape from us!
Be gone! Be gone!
This is bad! Come on! Down you go! Take this! Come on!
Punishment of the gods! Taste my blade! This will make me stronger! You shall not feel the full thrust!
This is bad!
I hope you're ready!
Shall defeat, we eradicate humanity and bring about the dawn of an endless age that can never be tamed.
Blades of Judgment! You dare to fire? This is face my divine wrath!
Oh, this is for the universe, for the world!
Let's settle this!
Not gonna hold anything back!
Final Kamehameha!
What's the problem? You keep up with me!
Tell me, do you truly believe you can win?
No escaping. Take this. This is the end. This attack decides it.
gonna go crying to your mama? Alright. You're sorry ass is toast! Right here! You're going straight to hell! You can't handle my awesome power!
You're pretty strong.
Jiren, I'm not gonna let you win.
Right here. Got you now. You're mine. We're gonna pay.
I'm as strong as Goku and Vegeta combined, and then some! Kiss your ass goodbye! Try this, you got this! This is it! You're ready for this! Try this! See how this is going? Try this! Get out of here! Hope you're ready for this! Try handling this! Take this! Here goes! This next one's gonna wipe you off the face of the planet! Kamehame!
Witness the results of my research.
Are you ready for this? This is all of my power! Prepare to suffer! Can't I hear? Time for another delightful hunt!
Behold, this day marks the beginning of a new chapter of the universe. For I am the sun that lights this world, and that light shall be known as justice. And thus begins a hitherto unseen world of perfection. I am the wisdom, the law, and the power of the universe. My tears shall purify this world. I shall bring about the dawn of an endless age that can never be tainted. The countless blasphemies you have lain at my feet. This is a sin worthy of death. The time has come to open the earth and wash everything away. In my world of pure perfection, I am justice itself. Now venerate the most noble, most splendid, immortal, and supremely powerful god, Zamasu!
Looking good, Gohan!